More news. Cool. During today's stream, we had another announcement for Friday the 13th. This time we got news on free content being added to the game scheduled for the 30th of January, which at this point in time is only a few days away. After a lot of speculation and even some leaks that confirmed some of this info a while back, it's finally official. Part 5 Jason and the Pinehurst map are on their way to the game. For those of you that don't know, Part 5 is a somewhat controversial Jason. It's revealed towards the end of that film that the killer was actually a guy named Roy who was just mimicking Jason. A lot of people in the community seem to be bothered by this, which is surprising since in the movie, there was no clear difference in behavior when compared to the real Jason. Anyway, it seems like the devs did a good job balancing this one out, but let's get into his stats so you can make up your own minds on this one. Here's Part 5 on the Jason selection screen. We can get a slight idea of what his unique grab kills may look like and also be reminded that he will be using shears as his weapon. I'm pretty pumped to see the slash animation on this one. Like, is he just gonna stab counselors with the shears? Is he gonna snip at them? I really want to know. And as for breaking down doors, I can imagine him just standing there poking the doors with the shears, and it's gonna look ridiculous, but I'm okay with that. But let's jump into the important stuff, his strengths and his weaknesses. First up, his strengths. Part 5 will become one of the only 2 Jasons in the game to start with additional throwing knives. Paired with our incoming buff for Jasons and knives, Part 5 and 6 Jasons will be starting with 6 knives in their inventory, not counting the knives that can be picked up in the Jason Shack. Part 5 also has improved stock, which makes a lot of sense given the nature of this film and its story. The guy hides in plain sight throughout the whole film, so it's safe to say stealth is a strong point for him. This strength is a cool nod to that. And finally, he can run. This one makes a lot of sense since most other abilities or strengths don't make much sense on a non-supernatural human Jason. Overall, it's a basic but solid set of strengths. Here is where they really nailed it. The weaknesses. This Jason will have lower defense, reduced grip strength, and reduced stun resistance. I love this. I think it's an excellent way to incorporate him to the game while making him feel more vulnerable than a supernatural Jason would. The weaknesses aren't necessarily a huge hindrance, but the lower defense and stun resistance will definitely help make him feel more human. I wouldn't personally mind seeing him play like an entirely normal Jason, but I think they still handled it quite well for those who are bothered with 5 being added to the game. Also, alongside the free Jason being added to the game, we are also getting a map based on the setting of the same film, Pinehurst House. In the film, Pinehurst was a halfway home that Jarvis was off to in order to help him re-enter society. Shortly after his arrival, a member of the home was killed, and one of the emergency responders was the victim's father, Roy, who went on to imitate Jason and perform brutal killings. While the Pinehurst home on its own is very iconic, there are some other cool locations from the film that will probably see their way into the game, like the barn where Roy was eventually killed. But I'm personally hoping to see the diner or at least the trailer park from that film. Anyway, again, this content is being added for free on the 30th of this month. There will be no level requirement for the Jason. The content will likely be accompanied with the recently revealed Jason balance changes that we just covered on the channel. Not far away at all, and I hope you guys are excited for what's on the way. That is it for this video. Please be sure to let me know what you think about what we've got on the way or what you'd like to see added down the road. If you haven't already, a like on the video helps a ton, and subscribing means more than you know. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching the video. And also, even though you've been watching it this entire time, here's this.
If you are still haunted by the memory of Jason, you are not alone. The rageful, unstoppable force that was buried years ago has returned. Terror has been reawakened. Fear rekindled. By the time you count to 5, you won't be alive. Welcome to a new beginning. Friday the 13th, the game.